Part 86. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 852. Chapter 852 The Evil Spirit in the Bun Shop. Because now the two of them are not focused on Zhang Kai's showing off. Because they saw a junior evil spirit on Zhang Kai's body. Zhang Qi is in trouble. Suchen and Xiao Wu looked at each other and smiled. Because they have reached unity. When Suchen saw the evil spirit on Zhang Qi just now, he had already asked in his mind, and the system told them that it was an evil spirit that specialized in playing pranks and could get power from the reactions of pranksters. Suchen and Xiao Wu just wanted to watch Zhang Qi make a fool of himself. Sure enough, just as Zhang Qi finished speaking, the menu he held in his hand flew up. Zhang Qi thought he didn't hold it properly, so he quickly jumped up and grabbed the menu again. In fact, it was the evil spirit that robbed the menu, but only Suchen and Xiao Wu could see the truth. The menu was held in his hand again. This time Zhang Qi was more cautious. He held the menu tightly and glared at Suchen and Xiao Wu, who were suppressing their laughter. He muttered his doubts and dissatisfaction and headed towards the kitchen. Go over there. Why do I feel so weird today? I am embarrassed in front of those two brats. They will definitely laugh about this for a long time. Oops. What a bad start. Zhang Qi entered the kitchen, but the evil spirit did not continue to follow Zhang Qi, but stayed in the hall. The evil spirit floated over the hall, looking back and forth at the diners. After a while, the evil spirit flew towards a girl wearing a long skirt and a ponytail, and then stopped on the girl's head. Of course, Suchen and Xiao Wu could see all this clearly. Xiao Wu turned his head and looked at Suchen with doubtful eyes. Suchen understood that Xiao Wu was asking his opinion whether they should take action. Suchen was confused. This was a Beizai shop, and they were wearing the aprons of the Beizai shop. Their identities were the waiters of the Beizai shop. They couldn't just chase the evil spirits as they did before, waving and waving to get bigger. Pillow and spoon. If the two of them did this in the Beizai shop, they would definitely be regarded as crazy and would probably be taken away by 201. Then the two of them might be locked up in a mental hospital for the rest of their lives. The fantasy in their mind made Suchen he shook his head involuntarily. Xiao Wu, get your weapons ready. Let's not act rashly first, let's observe and observe. As soon as Suchen finished speaking, he saw Xiao Wu taking out a spoon. Seeing Xiao Wu's behavior, Suchen instinctively covered his mouth. Because he predicted that Xiao Wu would make the spoon bigger next. Xiao Wu's mouth was covered by Suchen, with a look of confusion on his face. Don't understand why he did this. Xiao Wu can't become a bigger spoon in public. Do you want to be taken to the laboratory to be a guinea pig? Xiao Wu shook his head violently, and Suchen let him go. After being released, Xiao Wu raised his head and sneezed loudly. I just wanted to sneeze. Of course I won't make the spoon bigger in front of so many people, I'm sick. Haha, I'm overthinking it. Hey, look at that evil spirit causing trouble. Suchen was really embarrassed by what he saw, so he had no choice but to look away from Xiao Wu and pretended to turn his head to look at the evil spirit. As a result, he happened to see the girl serving soup with a spoon, and the evil spirit was pulling the girl's hand and shaking it back and forth. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 853. Chapter 853 Acting as a domineering CEO at a steamed stuffed bun restaurant. The girl's hand holding the spoon uncontrollably threw towards the man opposite. Too bad, even if they rush over, it's already too late. A spoonful of 3 fresh soup was poured on the man opposite. The man who was eating was stunned for a moment, and quickly wiped his clothes wet with soup with paper. Then he looked at the girl angrily. The girl looked at a loss. We can't just watch. Xiao Wu said as he walked towards the two of them. Seeing this, Suchen felt that the girl would suffer if she couldn't argue, so he also walked over. Sure enough, the man did not restrain himself because he was facing a girl. He glared at the girl, stand up and grab the girl's wrist holding the spoon. What are you doing? Does eating have to be such a big move? The woman was frightened by the man's behavior. She looked at the man with fearful eyes and wanted to withdraw her grabbed wrist. However, how could a girl struggle to survive a man? Don't move. When the man saw the girl struggling, his tone became more and more scary. At this time, Xiao Wu and Suchen had come to the side of the table of guests. Seeing that the man was about to lose control, Suchen quickly spoke to lighten the atmosphere. Sir, this girl. What are you doing in the cold? Clean it up quickly. The man's vicious tone made Suchen and Xiao Wu feel that this matter would not be solved so easily. However, his next behavior shocked them instantly. Baby, are your hands hot? Are you okay? No, it's okay. The man looked at the girl's wrist carefully, and when he heard the girl's response, he relaxed his nervousness. The man took the girl's hand, slowly pulled it to his chest, and then kissed it. I'm going. These were two words that burst out from the hearts of Suchen and Xiao Wu at the same time. What kind of behavior is this? What an immoral behavior this is. Doing such a thing in front of Suchen and Xiao Wu instantly gave them goosebumps. They quickly wiped the spilled soup on the table with a rag and ran away. Baby, your hands were not burned, were they? Ugh. Suchen, I feel like I was hurt. I felt like a knife was just there, rubbing on my neck. What the hell, is this a show of a domineering president and his petty wife in this small steamed stuffed bun shop? Suchen and Xiao Wu were extremely depressed. They thought this was something that they needed to be rescued by heroes. What a beautiful thing. It turned out that they were just showing off their affection. Suchen and Xiao Wu stood by the wall, and they stared angrily in their direction. But with this glare, Suchen discovered the evil spirit who was originally next to the girl. It flew away, hovering in the sky, looking for a new target. It's strange why the evil spirit flew away. I just wanted the evil spirit to cause trouble, so that I could feel nothing but hatred in my heart. Xiao Wu also saw it, and he still felt it in his heart. Somewhat aggrieved. However, after all, he still didn't want the evil spirit to cause trouble in the bun shop. Suchen looked at Xiao Wu and understood what Xiao Wu was thinking. There was just one question that he was a little confused about. Xiao Wu, don't you think it's strange? The evil spirit only pranked the girl once and then left. Why? If the evil spirit wants to gain power, it can continue. After all, just looking at the girl's reaction, it was successful. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 854. Chapter 854 The best person to attract evil spirits. Could it be that the evil spirits are bored again and don't like causing trouble for that girl? Xiao Wu couldn't figure out the reason and could only make random guesses. Suchen watched as it circled back and forth over the hall. It was not looking for targets very quickly. In other words, the targets it chose were all selected through repeated selection and relatively successful ones, so the evil spirit could not be just a prank. Once you hit a girl, you lose interest. Suchen recalled Zhang Qi before. Zhang Qi was pranked twice. The reason why the evil spirit stopped following him was because he entered the kitchen. He compared Zhang Kai's reaction with the girl's reaction, and finally Suchen knew the difference. Xiao Wu, I understand. The evil spirit chose a girl among so many people, perhaps because it felt that girls were timid and would be more reactive, especially because they made mistakes and offended the man opposite. A normal reaction would be for a man to criticize, or perhaps behave in a more extreme way, which will make girls even more frightened. For evil spirits, there is greater power. That girl looked really scared. Xiao Wu didn't agree with what Suchen said, so he put forward his own opinion without hesitation. Hear me out. Look at the man's attitude towards the girl. They were two such bored people. The girl's expression at that time should not be fear, but surprise and concern. So, what you are saying is that the evil spirit realized that it could not get energy from girls, so it changed its candidate. Suchen nodded and continued. In this way, as long as it is an act of love, it is meaningless to the evil spirit. That's pretty much it? Oh. In this way, Zhang Qi is indeed a bit miserable. Xiao Wu felt sorry for Zhang Qi, thinking of Zhang Kai's fall, he shook his head with some sympathy. Suchen and Xiao Wu continued to look at the evil spirit hovering in the air. The evil spirit did not come down again, so they had no way to kill it. Weapons cannot be made larger, and the accuracy of their throws is greatly reduced. Moreover, they were not sure where the thrown spoons or pillows landed. It would be a disaster if they hurt the guests. We need to stop the evil spirits from flying around so that we can kill them. However, we cannot control the evil spirits, and the evil spirits do not listen to us. Suchen was thinking while talking, and suddenly a face flashed in his mind. That's right. It's Zhang Qi. If they want the customers of the Beizai shop to be harmed by evil spirits, they need to find someone to attract the evil spirits, and then find an opportunity to kill them. And this is the best way to attract evil spirits. The candidate is undoubtedly Zhang Qi. Suchen, what are you laughing at? Have you already thought of a way? Looking at the expression on Suchen's face, Xiao Wu knew that Suchen already had an idea in his mind, and looking at that smile, Xiao Wu realized this idea must be a bad idea. Bad idea? Xiao Wu rolled his eyes and looked in the direction of the kitchen. Suchen raised a smile at the corner of his mouth and patted Xiao Wu on the shoulder. We are indeed good partners. Isn't it a bit unethical for us to do this? However, it is also for his own good to exercise our dear coach Zhang. It is also good to keep fit. Xiao Wu said he was confused, but the smile on his face completely betrayed him. He was not doing it for Zhang Kai's good, he just wanted to see Zhang Qi continue to make a fool of himself. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 855. Chapter 855, this is what I'm waiting for. Xiao Wu, wait. Suchen said as he nodded towards Xiao Wu and walked towards the kitchen. Entering the kitchen, Suchen saw Zhang Qi sitting in a corner of the kitchen eating something. Suchen walked over and took a look. The plate in front of Zhang Qi was a plate of beef with only a few slices left. Suchen stood in front of Zhang Qi with a smile. In fact, Zhang Qi had already noticed Suchen as soon as he entered the kitchen. But he didn't care about Suchen. After all, here, as long as he was not the curator, he had no taboos about others. Coach Zhang, is this beef okay to eat? It's not bad. Didn't I ask you to take care of the customers outside? Why did you come to the kitchen? Is there something wrong? Zhang Qi asked several questions in a row, with the purpose of reminding Suchen that he should go work, not in the kitchen. Suchen didn't care about Zhang Kai's words. After all, his purpose was more despicable than Zhang Kai's. Coach Zhang, I came to the kitchen, didn't I just come to see you? Xiao Wu and I have never been waiters before, so we were really nervous watching the customers coming in and out, especially when there were more customers, we became even more confused. That's right. You can't cope with these customers who are just ordering food. What if you meet a master in the future? Since you call me Coach Zhang, I have the responsibility and obligation to train you into a coach. No matter what things he faces, no matter who he is a talent who can face danger without fear. I didn't expect that a student would be so good, and he could pretend to be cool without being refuted. After Jiang Qi finished speaking, he felt secretly happy in his heart. He stuffed the beef in his hand into his mouth again, with a leisurely look on his face. When Suchen heard Zhang Kai's words, he really wanted to punch them. This was their first day here, and they had not done anything before they were dragged into the bun shop by Zhang Qi as a waiter. He actually had the nerve to say such things now. But there is one thing he said rightly: responsibility and obligation. That's what I've been waiting for. Although Suchen was dissatisfied with Zhang Kai's behavior, his purpose in coming to the kitchen was to trick Zhang Qi out. Suchen pretended to be asking for advice and looked at Zhang Qi. "Coach Zhang, I knew you must be a good coach. However, you see, Xiao Wu and I are both novices and we really can't handle it. Just go out and take a look, teach us by words and deeds, and we will learn from you." Who doesn't like to hear compliments? Zhang Qi was so excited that he put the last piece of beef on the plate into his mouth and looked at Suchen like a child. With an expression on his face, he stood up. "I'll go out and take a look. After all, you are my students." Zhang Qi put the plate aside and turned around to leave the kitchen. Suchen followed Zhang Qi and put the phone away. Although Zhang Qi is the coach of the Speedy Martial Arts Gym, the gym director's attitude towards him was obviously not very good. He was photographed eating something secretly. Maybe it will be useful when he gets it. Zhang Qi walked out of the kitchen and walked towards Xiao Wu proudly. Suchen made an okay gesture to Xiao Wu from behind. "Just these customers don't care about coming? You two are really young masters. Look at what I do and learn from it." "Yes, yes, yes, Coach Zhang, we must." While Suchen was playing haha, he hooked his hand towards Xiao Wu to signal him to come back. Xiao Wu returned to Suchen's side and turned his head slightly. Suchen half covered his mouth with his hand and whispered in a voice that Xiao Wu could hear. "Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion." Author, 7 years. Chapter 856. Chapter 856 wants this effect. However, this action was not obvious, so they could not be suspicious. Now Zhang Qi had deceived him, but the evil spirit didn't seem to notice him. Well, since the evil spirits can't notice them, let's go and help them. After Xiao Wu finished speaking, he came to Zhang Kai's side with a smile on his face. Zhang Qi was so proud that he didn't notice Xiao Wu's expression. "Coach Zhang, can you go over there with me? There is a problem over there that I can't solve. I hope you can help me. Since you want to learn so sincerely, of course I am willing to teach you." Zhang Kai's tone made Xiao Wu laugh happily. In Zhang Kai's opinion, it was his kind teaching method that moved Xiao Wu. As everyone knows, Xiao Wu was not moved at all, but was clearly smiling after succeeding. "Coach Zhang, come with me." Under the leadership of Xiao Wu, Zhang Qi came directly under the evil spirit. The evil spirit was still hovering in the air, but after seeing Zhang Qi, it stayed above him and seemed to be very interested in him. "This is the effect you want." Seeing that the evil spirit was about to be fooled, Xiao Wu hurriedly avoided it. He didn't want his plan to fail because he had killed the evil spirit before and had an aura that was taboo to the evil spirit. However, there must be a reason to leave here, otherwise it would look very deliberate to just walk away. It happened that at this time, one of the guests at the table ran out of napkins, so Xiao Wu hurriedly left to get napkins for the customers. Xiao Wu left, and Zhang Qi did not stand still, mainly because the position was exactly in the middle of the hall. He was awkwardly stuck there like a telegraph pole. After Xiao Wu handed the napkin to the customer, Zhang Qi quickly walked over. "What happened? Tell me quickly." It was the customer at that location who accidentally spilled water on the ground. "I just want to know, should we clean up now? Or wait until the guests leave to clean up?" Xiao Wu asked seriously, as if this is what happened. In fact, this was all a lie on his part. Moreover, Even if Zhang Qi goes to check, he is not afraid of the lie being exposed, because at this moment, the evil spirit is floating above his head. Who could have expected what the evil spirit would do to him? However, no matter what he does, Zhang Qi will always be the unlucky one. Sure enough, Zhang Qi said that we should look at the amount and location of groundwater before deciding on the method. Zhang Qi walked towards that location again. We just had the opportunity to kill the evil spirit, but we deliberately didn't do it. Isn't this unfriendly to Coach Zhang? Xiao Wu asked with a smile. Su Chen glanced at Xiao Wu with contempt. You always talk like this. I bet you are really looking forward to seeing Zhang Qi being pranked, but you still say sympathetic words. What a white lotus. Xiao Wu just smiled slightly at Su Chen's sarcasm and didn't care at all. Su Chen and Xiao Wu get along. Although they haven't been together for a long time, they are like a couple who have passed the 7-year itch. They are completely familiar with each other's tempers and have adapted to each other. Next, neither Su Chen nor Xiao Wu spoke, but stared at Zhang Qi seriously. At this time, Zhang Qi had arrived at the previous position. He bent down and looked at the ground, as if he was looking for the pool of water that Xiao Wu mentioned before. However, he bent over and turned around and found nothing. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 857. Chapter 857. If you have any questions, please contact the curator. Just when Zhang Qi was about to stand up, his left foot suddenly tripped over his right foot, and his whole body fell sideways, hitting his head on the corner of the table. Ouch, let me go. It hurts me so much. Zhang Qi was lying on the ground grinning, but he knew this was a steamed stuffed bun shop, so he didn't exaggerate. He could only endure the pain and stood up and walked slowly to the side. Su Chen and Xiao Wu suppressed their laughter and hurried forward. Supported him. Coach Zhang, are you okay? It's okay, I just hit my head and it hurts a little. Su Chen pretended to hold Zhang Kai's head with his hand and inspected it carefully, then stroked the big bump of his penis with his hand. Coach Zhang, you have a big bump here, let's go bandage it quickly. It hurts Su Chen, please let go and don't touch it. Zhang Qi knocked Su Chen's hand off and quickly touched it. It was really painful. Xiao Wu glanced at Su Chen evilly, and then flirted with Zhang Qi. Coach Zhang is the coach of the Quick Martial Arts School. Although he does not have an indestructible body, he is definitely not someone who can be knocked down by just a few bumps, don't you think? Yes, what is this? When I first started practicing martial arts, the police would do this, but I never took it seriously. Zhang Qi originally wanted to leave and apply ice to relieve the pain, but when he heard what Xiao Wu said, he had no choice but to endure the pain because of his face. Zhang Qi felt miserable. What is happening? He was at the steamed stuffed bun shop before. It's not like he has never been a waiter. Because the curator is Zhang Kai's master, before, Zhang Qi would be taken to the bun shop by his master every day when he had nothing to do. In fact, Zhang Qi can be regarded as an old waiter. Today, Su Chen and Xiao Wu joined the instant martial arts school, and Zhang Qi finally had a younger brother. He was so proud. He always thought that he could play tricks in front of his two younger brothers, Su Chen and Xiao Wu, but today it was really not going well. One bad thing happened to him one after another. Zhang Qi cursed the street secretly in his heart. However, he could not show any expression on his face. Now Zhang Qi has no intention of staying at the steamed stuffed bun shop, he wants to go at the hospital, he wanted to find a doctor to deal with the bump on his forehead. He didn't have an indestructible body, so why didn't he need to deal with it? After all, the bump was already swollen so high, it was so ugly. Su Chen, Xiao Wu, you two stay here for now, I'll go out for a while. Coach Zhang, now that you are gone, what should we do if we encounter a problem? Suchen suppressed his laughter and asked with confusion on his face. This look made Xiao Wu lower his head and laugh. If you need anything, go to the curator. He's in the room. Coach Zhang. Xiao Wu grabbed Zhang Kai's arm, but the evil spirit hadn't been killed yet. If Zhang Qi takes him outside, it will be difficult to kill him. Being pulled by Xiao Wu like this, Zhang Qi was furious. He waved his arms and walked out. Eh? Xiao Wu, why are you dragging me? Didn't I tell you? If you have any questions, please contact the curator. Coach Zhang, you can't leave. At this time, Suchen also grabbed Zhang Kai's other arm, so Zhang Qi was trapped by Suchen and Xiao Wu. Zhang Qi wanted to look away, but under the strange eyes of the customers in the hall, Zhang Qi could only be trapped by Suchen Chen, and Xiao Wu came back to the kitchen again. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 858. Chapter 858. How can it be called a lie if you agree with me? Suchen and Xiao Wu pulled Zhang Qi, of course not because of Zhang Qi, but because of the evil spirit in him. It would be difficult to handle if the evil spirit followed Zhang Qi and left outside the bun shop. Fortunately, the evil spirit followed Zhang Qi to the kitchen again. I really don't know what that little guy sees in Zhang Qi. Isn't this bad? At least it's good for us. Suchen smiled slightly at Xiao Wu and showed the small pillow in his hand, while Xiao Wu also held a small spoon in his hand. At this time, the evil spirit was floating above Zhang Kai's head. Xiao Wu jumped up with a spoon and swung it towards the evil spirit. The evil spirit saw Xiao Wu's movements, looked to the side and snatched it away. Perhaps the evil spirit saw the power of the weapon in Xiao Wu's hand and quickly flew towards the kitchen door. However, Xiao Wu didn't catch up, he just smiled, because Suchen was already stuck there. Just when Suchen raised his hand and controlled the small pillow in his hand to swing towards the evil spirit, suddenly, his wrist was hit by an eggplant that suddenly flew over, and the small pillow in his hand was knocked away. Suchen was about to get angry when he saw Zhang Qi angrily walking towards him while carrying Xiao Wu. Coach Zhang, what are you doing? What the hell are you two doing? I said why everything is not going well for me today and I am so unlucky. It turns out it is you two little bastards. I've caught you now. I'll see how you can quibble. Xiao Wu wanted to break away from Zhang Kai's hand, but Zhang Qi was very strong and he couldn't break free at all. Xiao Wu was extremely helpless. He was about to succeed in killing the evil spirit, but was destroyed by Zhang Qi. It has nothing to do with us that you are unlucky. It should be because you did something immoral. Immoral things. Don't talk nonsense. I, Zhang Qi, am law-abiding, loyal and honest, and never do immoral things. When Zhang Qi said this, Xiao Wu, who was struggling, was suddenly stunned. If cheating them for more than 10,000 yuan does not count. Zhang Qi is hypnotizing himself in his mind, which is not a bad thing. The two of them came to study, and I could pay them. What they paid was tuition, how could it be considered immoral? Zhang Qi was comforting himself like this in his heart, but Suchen didn't want to give him this opportunity. Of course, except for the 13,776 yuan that was given to the two of us today. The shame in his heart was exposed by Suchen's words, and Zhang Qi was a little angry. How can it be said to be a lie? How can you say that something you agree with me is a lie? I have a skill, and you come to learn it? Is it normal to charge tuition? Could it be that you want me to show my love? Of course we know you are not that noble. However, if you don't understand anything, just stand there and don't move, otherwise you will pay the consequences at your own risk. Suchen's words were very meaningful, and Zhang Qi actually let go of Xiao Wu obediently. Zhang Qi didn't know what was wrong with him, and he was also confused as to why he listened to the words of this brat Suchen. He posed no threat to him at all. However, Suchen's expression just now made him feel scared. Jiang Qi let go of Xiao Wu, and Xiao Wu ignored the surprise in Jiang Kai's eyes, stepped in front of him, and jumped up and waved the arm holding the spoon. Another on the side, Suchen also waved his arms. The distance between the two became smaller and smaller. In Jiang Kai's view, the situation in front of him was very strange. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 859. Chapter 859. Are the two of them crazy? Suchen and Xiao Wu waved their arms as if possessed, with a hint of joy in their anxious eyes. Jiang Qi began to mutter in his heart, are the two of them sick? Fall ill? Are they both mentally ill? Oh my gosh! Jiang Qi looked at the two lunatics, and in order to prevent himself from being affected, he quietly dodged aside. However, he dodged to the side, and the evil spirit dodged with him. Although Jiang Qi couldn't see it, what he could see was Suchen and Xiao Wu waving their arms and moving with him. After going back and forth like this twice, Jiang Qi couldn't bear it anymore. He hit Suchen and Xiao Wu's waving arms with a wave of his hand. The spoon in Xiao Wu's hand was knocked to the ground by Jiang Qi. You two, you did it on purpose. What are you doing? Jiang Qi did not expect that the people who responded to him were not Suchen and Xiao Wu's apologies, but angry questions. Jiang Qi felt inexplicably strange, but at the same time, he was tangled in his mind about whether the two of them really had mental problems. If there is a mental problem, then Jiang Qi should leave here as soon as possible. He must not anger them, let alone talk to them. After all, mentally ill people do not need to pay for committing crimes, and there are many knives and sharp things in this kitchen. I was not careful just now, you guys are playing, you continue. I won't bother you. After Jiang Qi finished speaking, he was about to walk towards the door of the kitchen, but how could Suchen and Xiao Wu let the evil spirit leave? They blocked the door and refused to let Jiang Qi go out. At this time, Xiao Wu picked up the spoon from the ground with one skill. Get up. While Suchen was blocking him, Xiao Wu came up behind Jiang Qi. Do not move. Several times, Suchen and Xiao Wu were about to hit the evil spirit, but they were disrupted by Jiang Qi. Suchen was a little angry when he saw Jiang Qi, who was still wandering around, so he yelled. But, obviously, Jiang Qi would not say an inexplicable scolding but would obediently stand in place. Suchen took a step towards Jiang Qi, and Jiang Qi felt that Xiao Wu behind him was getting closer to him. Jiang Qi looked at the movements of the two people. I felt even more nervous. Fortunately, Xiao Wu had a spoon in his hand, otherwise Jiang Qi would probably have taken action. In fact, with Jiang Kai's hand, it would be a piece of cake to defeat Suchen and Xiao Wu. But, what confused him was their behavior. In Jiang Kai's heart, he didn't think they were crazy, so he wanted to know the purpose of their suspicious behavior. As long as you explain it clearly to me, I won't move. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Jiang Kai's words made Suchen and Xiao Wu stunned. If Jiang Qi takes action, neither of them is his opponent. And judging from what he said, as long as they tell the truth, Jiang Qi will cooperate. Suchen, after looking at each other with Xiao Wu, they decided to tell Jiang Qi the truth of the matter, so that he would be obedient and the evil spirit could be killed more easily. However, speaking out and telling Jiang Qi that there was one in him made him unlucky. The evil spirit, would this really not be regarded as a lunatic? When the two of them were entangled, Suchen smiled slightly at Xiao Wu and made an okay gesture with his hand. Jiang Qi also saw it. He was a little cautious. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 860. Chapter 860. Do you think there are ghosts in this world? What are you doing? Are you planning to explain? Coach Zhang, don't be nervous, we plan to explain this matter clearly to you. But after you hear it, don't be afraid. Suchen looked at Zhang Qi with serious eyes. Zhang Qi was curious and at the same time, he felt even more nervous. However, he was their coach. How could a coach show his timidity in front of the students? Zhang Qi took courage, with a look on his face pretending to be disdainful. The flesh on his face couldn't help but tremble twice. Are you kidding? How could I be scared? Tell me, what's your explanation? I listen. Coach Zhang, do you think there are ghosts in this world? When Zhang Qi heard Suchen's words, he couldn't help but feel weak at his feet, but he still held on and did not fall down because his legs were weak. How could it be possible? I'm not a child. You can't lie to me. Well, you're just lying to me. For example, the unlucky guy. Suchen looked at Zhang Qi, whose body was trembling despite his harsh words, and couldn't help but laugh. Unexpectedly, Zhang Qi is afraid of ghosts. Especially when he heard about the unlucky man, Suchen saw that his eyes suddenly froze, and then they began to move back and forth. There was a hint of disbelief in his eyes, but there was also more fear. Coach Zhang, do you feel suddenly very unlucky and evil today? Xiao Wu's sudden words caused Zhang Kai's nervous mood to completely collapse. He staggered, his eyes filled with fear. Then, he suddenly hugged Suchen's arm. There is a ghost in me, Suchen, Xiao Wu, help me. The awareness is very high and everyone knows to ask us for help. Do not move. Zhang Qi stood there obediently. The evil spirit saw that the situation was not good and wanted to escape. Suchen saw the right opportunity. The pillow ornament in his hand grew larger in a thought and hit the evil spirit. The evil spirit disappeared. Congratulations to Suchen and Xiao Wu for successfully killing the intermediate evil spirit. Their force value is increased by 3. Please redeem the rewards. Long life. The lifespan of a successful redemption is 3 days. Before Suchen spoke, Xiao Wu had already redeemed his lifespan. Suchen didn't say anything, only the gratitude in his eyes. The evil spirits were killed, but they also encountered a problem, that is Zhang Qi. Zhang Qi was still trembling at this moment. I peeked at Yeche and Xiao Wu with smiles on their faces and quickly asked. Why are you laughing? Please help me. I have an unlucky ghost in me, but you can still laugh. Coach Zhang, does the curator know that you are so easily deceived? Xiao Wu smiled. I have to say that Zhang Qi was quite cute at this time. When Zhang Qi heard that Xiao Wu said that he was lying to him, the fear on his face increased instead of decreasing. There really are unlucky people. The reason why I have been unlucky today is because I was caught up in the unlucky people. Coach Zhang, don't be afraid, as long as we are here, he will not dare to bully you again. Suchen looked at Zhang Kai's look and knew that now was not the time to tease him, because it could be seen from Zhang Kai's eyes that he was really scared. Zhang Qi needed comfort. Looking at Zhang Kai's appearance, Suchen and Xiao Wu suddenly they felt guilty. They didn't expect him to be afraid of ghosts. If they knew this, they wouldn't use ghosts to deceive him. What kind of era is this? There are still people who believe in such nonsense as ghosts. Online games, I really don't want to have unlimited fusion. Author, 7 years. Chapter 861. Chapter 861. The Strange Curator. But then again, there is not much difference between evil spirits and ghosts, at least not visible. Well, after all, it was Suchen and Xiao Wu who caused Zhang Qi harm, so they decided to send Zhang Qi back to the dormitory and let him take a rest. Just when Suchen and Xiao Wu were helping Zhang Qi out of the kitchen, a rough voice remembered. What are you doing? Haven't you seen that there are many customers in the bun shop? Why don't you get up and help? As soon as the voice fell, Suchen and Xiao Wu helped Zhang Qi and saw the curator. What's up with him? There is a ghost. Before Suchen and Xiao Wu could answer, Zhang Qi broke free and ran towards the gym director. Although the gym director had a look of disgust on his face, he still grabbed Zhang Qi and walked towards the martial arts hall like a chicken. It is finally over. Xiao Wu breathed a sigh of relief. He turned around and looked at Suchen. I have a question. Suchen, look at the curator's expression just now, as if it's normal to see Zhang Qi like this. Then he probably knows that Zhang Qi is afraid of ghosts. Zhang Qi is not a child. The curator knew that Zhang Qi was afraid of ghosts, but he was still so calm. This is obviously abnormal. Yes, this is not normal. Suchen and Xiao Wu were about to make a detailed analysis of the performance of the curator and Zhang Qi, but an angry roar stopped them. What are you doing standing there? Work for me. Yes, it was the rough voice of the curator. Although Suchen and Xiao Wu didn't care about Zhang Qi, they still had to give him face after all. So, the two of them came out of the kitchen honestly and we arrived at the hall. Because it was not easy to kill evil spirits, Suchen and Xiao Wu had no energy to do anything else. They finally waited until the bun shop closed before returning to their dormitory. After washing up, Suchen lying on the bed with Xiao Wu, we started to reminisce about the whole day today. What did we do today? I feel so tired. But I'm fine now. It's so comfortable lying on the bed. Xiao Wu stretched out and kept his arms on Suchen. Suchen didn't care. He glanced at Xiao Wu and asked the doubts he had hidden in his heart for a long time. Xiao Wu, why are you so rich? I don't have any money. Listen, Xiao Wu. With a careless answer, Suchen curled his lips and rolled his eyes. He also said that he had no money, so he could casually take out more than 10,000 yuan, which ordinary people couldn't do. Is 10,000 yuan a lot? Why, Suchen, you don't even have 10,000 yuan, do you? As if someone had hit him, Suchen looked away sheepishly and smiled sheepishly. The reason why Suchen acted like this was because Xiao Wu was absolutely right. Suchen really had no money, and he really didn't have 10,000 yuan. In the past few days, when he was getting along with Xiao Wu, except for treating himself to a buffet, it was Xiao Wu who spent the money. Thinking of this, Suchen also felt a little embarrassed. Well, Xiao Wu, when I have the money, I will return it to you. Okay, I believe you. But, if we always stay in this martial arts gym, they can't make money, and they have to be forced to serve voluntarily. Xiao Wu is right. They live in Jisu Martial Arts Hall now. Although there is a bun shop here and they can eat and drink without worries, they can't make money. And Suchen still had to go to various places to kill evil spirits.